The following book review is for a nonfiction young adult title. The book I chose was the Dungeons & Dragons Player's Handbook, published in 2014 by authors James Wyatt, Robert Schwalb, and Bruce Cordell. The fantasy role-playing game Dungeons & Dragons has existed since the 1970s. Thanks to Netflix shows like Stranger Things and popular YouTube series like Critical Role, the game is going through a popular resurgence that inspired this 5th edition of the core basic rules. Longtime adult players are returning to the game, and new young adult players are discovering it for the first time. The Dungeons & Dragons Player's Handbook provides an overview of the game itself before guiding players through the detailed character creation process. Players choose from one of 9 races, including dwarves, elves, and humans, and then select from one of a dozen character classes, including barbarians, bards, clerics, fighters, rangers, and sorcerers. This new edition of the rules emphasizes the importance of defining the player character's personality and background. At the heart of all role-playing games is the emphasis on freedom of players to act, speak, and breathe life into their characters. The book also discusses the importance of equipment, armor, weapons, and tools, everything the player characters will need to survive their adventures. The second section of the book focuses on ability scores. These numbers, along with dice rolls, help determine a character's success or failure in all situations, but most specifically in combat. The third section of the book provides details on spells for the magic-using classes. Finally, the appendices briefly touch upon the world-building aspects and provide some sample creature statistics. These latter subjects are touched upon in further detail in the companion Dungeon Master's Guide and Monster Manual, the 2 core rule books best suited for the Dungeon Master, or DM, who will be running the adventures for the players. This book is printed on glossy paper in color, with a textured light background meant to reflect the look of old parchment. The illustrations, provided by dozens of artists, have a consistent fantasy theme that further inspires the players to get into the mood and genre of the game. The pages are laid out well, explaining the rules with dense paragraphs of descriptive detail and useful, easy-to-follow tables and charts. The Dungeons & Dragons Player's Handbook is recommended for players of all ages who want to use their imagination, along with their friends, to tell amazing adventure stories. The book will be right at home in school libraries, middle school or high school, or in public libraries, usually shelved in the young adult nonfiction section.